Jungle.
Hi, I'm Kudo Mal. That's what it goes in Kudo Academy, and this is Lee Taylor from Lee Taylor Karate. Thanks, good to see you, Lee. It's been a while.
Pleasure. Thank you. It has, yeah. Time seems to be flying at the moment in a strange way.
Yeah, that's it. I'm watching. Senior classes are doing well.
Yes, it took me about a week or so to jump on and jump on that system of teaching online, but it's 3 times a week. It seems to be paying off for my group. It seems to be working for my group. There seems to be lots out there now, and you can do sessions every day and every hour, any style. But I think if I was to teach 5 days a week like I would, I think it would burn me out.
Yeah.
Really different. I travel to 5 different dojos normally, and that's okay. But if I did 5 nights in my living room, I think I'd be burned.
How are you dealing with not having someone to demonstrate on?
Well, I got my son, George.
Okay.
You can punch him a number of times.
Yeah.
But he's bigger than me now, so
he's a big guy now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fighting back. So yeah. Like I say, I got George, and we do a little bit, but you know, you still miss that interaction with training. Yeah.
Well, that's good. You know, and the students are supposed to keep your dojo open, so that's you know. Our guys have been very lucky, you know, with some recent donations and stuff, because, you know, both of us were with BCKA, but we're not with the Registered Sports Council, which is the only kind of avenue for money, really, besides obviously the government money that's coming through. But, you know, I'm not self-employed at the minute, but I know you are, so you're waiting on that, really, aren't you?
Yeah, yes. Like you say, in this strange time, you do get humanity comes shining through, and I've had really, really nice, heartwarming, humbling messages from parents about the sessions and things like that. So, like you were just saying about your donations, it's just you know, it reaffirms your belief in humanity.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I think that's a good kind of way into what I was going to talk to you about, really, is that, you know, I've been watching you know, some of the things from Les, and there's Ken doing mental health, you know, doing, you know, martial arts for that. But, you know, I think that there's a lot what we can offer, really, because, you know, we cross paths with all of these people. Chris Hansen is trying to get everybody together. And I'm seeing that, like, obviously Ian Abernethy's forum seems to get a lot of people in there. I'm going to start hopefully posting some stuff in there, but, you know, and for people who don't know you, Lee, right, you know, can you just state where you're based?
Yeah, I'm based in Wales, UK. I've got three clubs in Wales, mid Wales, so Prestine, Rhayader, and Llanidloes, and I live right on the border of Wales and England, so just pop over the border and I have a club in England as well, Webley, so but predominantly and historically Wales. Yeah.
That's I mean, and that's how, you know, I was talking to my wife earlier, and about how long have I known Lee now? And she said, I don't know, maybe about 6 years. And I remember, because if you remember, I reached out to you when I was in Italy proposing to my wife.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I remember that. I said, well, you must have a very understanding fiance there.
And you know, and I sort of say, you know, you produced a book, and you know, you sent it to me, which was great. And I thought one of the bits I don't like about books, if I'm honest, you know, you get kind of one, and then it's like, and then the next one is like this, you know. And but it was kind of the intro you're talking about, you know, is it the Karate Widow? Is it you had in the book? Yeah, that's what she is.
There's I'm sure people can respond to Karate Widow.
You know, I'm kind of skimming through my Facebook, and you know, this Lee Taylor, man, he looks like the real deal, you know, because I think, like, you connected to Ian, you know, and I know you host Ian, and you go to, you know, his retreats, you know, his what do they call it? Residentials, that's it. And you know, but the bit that I was really interested in is the fact that you've got like katas that I wouldn't have practiced, but there's similarity in the connections and stuff. Have you got your book there, Lee, handy?
Yeah, I've got this one.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
The Ananku book.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. That's really, really good stuff.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
and Ian mentioned your DVD as well, because I've been trying to do some of the pad work things when you were showing me before, and I think after I've got a rule of 3. When if I can't do it in 3, I'm usually gone somewhere else. So.
Well, that's why I read and that's like me. When I ever watch, if I'm ever looking through YouTube and looking at drills or things like that and just scanning, if it hasn't caught me within a few minutes, I'm gone. So when you see these 10, 15 minute videos, I'm like, no. So I just go, and that's just me. So that's why I deliberately made the pad was quite small. They're like 3 or 4 moves long out of the kata, because you don't want a memory test. You want something that you can jump straight in. And the idea was just, all I wanted to do was reinforce the angles in kata and then mess the order of the kata up. So pick 3 or 4 moves out of the kata and string it into a pad drill. So I didn't want it to be hugely difficult and finite moves. Just right, let's go, here's 4 moves. This is how you can put it together in a drill. Bang, bang, bang. And the third part was so used to doing drills that are just linear one way. They just stand there and sort of not do anything. For me, for pad drill, that's it. And the pad holder is more important than the person doing the technique. If you don't get a good pad holder, then you can't really bring it to life. So the pad holder has some job to do as well. So you get this 2-way interaction, and it just sort of brings it to life, brings the kata to life, and you can sort of put something into it. You can hit quite hard, because we all train in a certain way. Like you mentioned, all those guys you mentioned, we've all got this way of training in our bankai, but we can't really go flat out all the time on a partner.
I think it's the variation only, and because I attended your split course with Ian, and that's what you did in your half, and in one of Ian's live broadcasts recently, when he was asked the question about pad work or kata-based pad work, he pretty much said, "You're the man." So
I did see the Heian pad drills, there it is.
So have you got any more coming out? You got anything else that you're going to be trying to do?
Yes, I've expanded on that. DVDs seem to be it's a bit like the old VHS now. They seem to be going by the dodo. So I've expanded on those. I've got another set of Heian videos where I'll then take it another step further, where you can expand on the pad drill, turn it into a live, semi-live session with your partner, and then just try and flow with it so the kata comes out when you respond to your partner. So I have a year to fill.
But it's that interactive. So like I found, I don't know about you now, with when my class was kind of closed, it was literally a few days, wasn't it? It was kind of right. You've got to close. I made the decision to close the club earlier in the week, even though there was still people functioning, because we as a style, we do pretty much everything with a partner. So it was kind of not really what we can do. And I've migrated our karate practice, to be everything about partners. So like, I'm thinking to myself now, when someone said, "Can you do something on Zoom?" And I was like, yeah, okay. And it's taken me till now, because I've been looking at what other people have been doing, and it's quite hard, isn't it, sitting in front of a camera, and you can't kind of go, right, well, move that, or and you're lucky that you're quarantined with your son as well. So
he helped me for a couple of times. He was my son was sort of my techie, helping me with the laptop and the phone, and you don't realize how much you don't know until you have to then start teaching in front of a camera. We all try and film clips and things and use them as content, but then actually you have to go, right, I'm teaching right to you, this little square. It was a steep learning curve. But like you said, it was very fast, wasn't it, when decisions were made to shut and close. I was like, oh, it's fine, the schools are open, it'll be okay. And then schools are shutting. Ah, right, okay. And then the leisure centres were, no, we're staying open. We thought, okay, if the leisure centres are open, I would be okay. Boom, within the next day, everything shut. And I was like, yeah, I had quite a bit of a wobble myself. As when you mentioned about the mental health stuff like what you do, and Ken, and was it Ken?
Ken,
and a few other guys. We're just because we train and we've been training for years, we're not infallible to these spouts of depression and feeling strange when something like that suddenly shuts and your control is taken away from you, and you think, definitely had a wobble, and still comes over in waves when you think about it. But it's just a matter of I think what we're good at doing martial arts is we just right. This is it, is it? Okay, well, let's find our way around it.
Yeah, totally.
How do we adapt? I think that's what's beneficial about the martial artists, but doesn't mean to say we're not infallible. I have moments, definitely.
No, so I mean that's why I was asking you really if you've done any more material, because I mean this is the time really, isn't it? I mean I can see that people are trying to push different platforms, but that resource that you spent your time doing, that's something that people can do. There's someone I met from Canada recently, and she's throwing her son around everywhere, so trying to practice everything. So there's ways and means, isn't there? I mean.
But
I don't know if you've seen Steve. You see Steve Blackwell's judo lesson?
Yeah.
So Steve, like I was talking to Steve, judo Steve. We call him judo Steve. That's been hilarious. I mean, we got a number of black belts now with all different styles and stuff, and we're bouncing ideas off each other. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it's definitely brought the martial art community even closer together, because
look
how fast we responded. Within a couple of weeks, like you say, there is so much choice out there now. That even groups are recruiting people to their clubs now for online sessions. So new students. There's platforms and styles and all sorts out there already. There's quite a lot. The content that I've created, I'm still a bit unsure when to launch it because of the partner aspect. And
you just got to get it out there, mate. If people want it, they want it. If they don't, they don't. And I think that work around it. I think it's like when you look at kata, isn't it? And you go, I know what that's for. You have that light bulb moment. It's going to be the same, wouldn't it? It'd be absolutely the same. But my background originally was karate, and my highest grade is in karate. But a lot of the international recognition that I'm getting now is to do with Kudo in the mixed martial arts. So if you don't know what Kudo is, check that. It's a mixed martial arts, and obviously you have judo, karate, and a lot of arts, but everything's relevant. So, and that's how we met, really, wasn't it? Because I approached you and said, look, you're actually practicing your karate in a pragmatic way, and a very functional way. Have you got anybody that would want to see if it works, and test out their skill and prowess? You've put people through in the first Kudo championship in Wales on a demo.
You see, it came at the right time, really, because when I was, like you say, moved into that pragmatic side of it, we were still sparring to a certain degree, but not to the level that your Kudo channel offered. I was still trying to get my head around putting it all together, and from where I came from, the competitive side,
sure,
it was that was the wrong avenue to try and link it all together. So we'd been a while without doing that side until you came along, and I thought, that's the link that I need for the guys who want to try and put it into that system. And it's the closest thing you can get for all ranges in a fight,
exactly,
which is
exactly
what I wanted to look for, really. So
so you jumped in there, but you're talking about your pad work drills in the Kudo Championship. Two of your boys, the very tall guy.
Tobias.
I mean, when they came in and they were kind of clinching, parrying, hitting. You can see all the muscle memory and that they've got from the pad work drills, and that very relevant when it came to actually the shock of being hit so hard and headbutting was changed it for them, didn't it? But they had it all there.
Definitely. It was like I say, we do it to a certain level in the club where they get this introduction into that level of interaction with a partner. But that was the very first time that they had to, step on the mat and go right.
Yeah, go to war.
So, but that is perfect. It's the perfect avenue for people who want to test that part of.
Yeah, that was my hope really, because obviously I'm a branch chief for Wales as part of the UK. But for me, we're instrumental in taking more people from traditional martial arts into a platform. Because I think I've been trying to put together a video about styles, but it's very difficult without actually starting to tread on people's toes or possibly offend people and things like that. And they're mainly down to the rule sets, and the rule sets are not actually what they've come up with, but they have to honor them, don't they? And when you say the Kudo has got like very little rules, the rules they have got, which obviously is for safety, is when you can't ground and pound, because the head's on the floor, and so you've got to simulate on that. There's a few other things that you can't do in Kudo, but most things is relevant. Yeah. So I was thinking, right, if I can just open this up to the world, because everybody's going to love this, they can still practice their karate style, and they can get on the mat and see if it works. Yeah. But it hasn't translated. It's very slow our development in Wales. It's quite hard. But if anybody's watching this and you've got a karate group, then you're not doing the semi-contact sort of point scoring or maybe the Kyokushin knockdown styles, or even if you are and you want to kind of take it up a gear, then give us a shout at some point and join me and Lee and others and try and get this moving forwards. But I'm massively passionate about it, and
that comes across, to be fair, and that it helps because you need somebody like that, like yourself, with where you want to take it and what you want to do with it, and it's just like anything else. People are possibly a bit wary of changing the way they do things or changing the way they compete or whatever, like I said. So, but you lay it out and you tell everyone what it is, how it works, where you're going to go with it, what to expect, and it's there for people's choice. Then there's nothing hidden in there where you finally get a shock or go, "Wow, I didn't expect it to be like this." You're very professional in the way you do that. So,
thank you. That's much appreciated.
Because like I said, the boys that I took down, they haven't competed, not at that level or at that platform, but they were completely taken from stage one to the end of the fight, and they were comfortable in every stage. So. Yeah,
and you've got to think to yourself, you've taught those boys well, because you think about it, if they haven't been fighting and they go down and have a fight like that, that they can do it for real.
Yeah.
If they really had to do it, that's always the insecurities we have with martial artists. And the more you remove yourself from contact, the more you kind of start doubting, maybe with this work, how would I fare? But I want to ask you a question, Lee. Everybody asks, what brought you into martial arts and that sort of stuff. And I've heard it on, your podcasts as well. So check these podcasts out if you haven't. That's the really interesting thing. But I wanted to ask you what actually keeps you in martial arts, because how long have you been training now?
I started when I went to secondary school. So what's that? 11.
About 10 years then, is it?
Yeah. What can you tell?
All right, let's look at that.
Well, I had 10 and I wasn't great when I started. I think secondary school age, so that's 11. But then I only dabbled when I went to college and uni. Then come out and was chasing a career for a few years. So I would then say back in it properly, 1999, just after my second son, George, was born. I think the wife wanted me back out of the house, really, to be honest.
Now you went and haven't come back till now. So what keeps you in it then? What's the thing that keeps you doing it now?
Do it's it's just something that it is me. It's just me. It's so I don't need to look for things to keep me interested or keep me motivated, because it is who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is what I do.
Yeah.
So it's just literally intrinsically in me. It's the longest thing I've ever done. Once I went full time, back in 2007. So I couldn't think of doing anything else. Now I made that leap to do it, and it's it's a weird feeling. It's me.
For me, I was kind of lucky really, because in about 2000, before coming into Gojin karate, I was training, and I would never have left it. So I understand that why people are so loyal to their martial arts. And there's a few people have been saying about them leaving. Some of the people I mentioned earlier actually joining the BCKA. You know, just looking at that. But it was, for me, it was like I'd been through those changes. I goes in a Kudo Academy with Steve and Kieran and AJ, you know, where the reason that we continue is because we're traditionalists, if you like. The fact that we like the etiquette and the gi, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. So, you know, you get your ki on, which is just basically like boxing, standing boxing sort of stuff. And some of it's taken from Kyokushin. But once you've done that part of the lesson, the rest of it's open. So the guy can teach you whatever. Yeah. And you haven't got someone stood over your shoulder going, that's not karate. You know, or someone going, that's judo, that is. And, you know, so like what keeps me in it is the fact that I've gone into an organization where I can learn anything and no one really comments, you know, and grades actually are based on the ability to fight, which is not what I think of karate, because karate for me is longevity, you know. So you know yourself, well, you've got some influences. I see the bromance with Mick Tully. I see some of that as well. Yeah. But, so tell people what have you been doing, you know, as in to bring him back to your karate?
Well, like I say, when you're in karate, you're in the group and you think that's what it is. You're within that bubble, as it were, and you think, I'm happy to be here, and this is cool, and this is how it is. You don't think of anything outside of that bubble until you come across something, or you start quizzing or thinking about something. It's only when I sort of created my when I went professional in 2007, there was two things I wanted to do. I wanted to study kata slightly differently, because I said there must be something more than step, punch, block, counter.
Yeah.
That was one question I wanted to answer. There was got to be something more to it than that. Nothing wrong with where I came from.
No.
That's how you were taught, because that's how they were taught. So they don't know any different, because they're passing on what they know. And we did the step, punch, block, counter bunkai, not to a great extent, because it was more of competitive kata, basically, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So that was one question I needed to answer. And the second one was, while I was teaching it, I had this feeling that if I got to teach somebody to look after themselves, I need some knowledge on that, because I can count the altercations I've had in my life on one hand.
Oh, okay.
And not all of them.
You haven't got a very punchable face like me.
I
got a face everybody wants with.
Yeah, I might say, well, my self-defense skills must be pretty amazing if I've only had 5 altercations in my life, or I just don't go and visit places that warrant that. But I felt that if I was teaching something, then I need some more knowledge and experience on that. So the first one, obviously, the kata. I obviously came across Ian in some articles, and he happened to be somebody who was hosting a seminar near to me, so I thought, well, go and check it out. It was best time to do it. And that was the light bulb moment in my first seminar with you. And then the other thing was, well, who would be the next best person to do the self-defense, the reality stuff? And that was obviously Jeff Thompson.
Yeah.
So I went and trained, I still trained with Ian, and studied with Jeff, just to get that idea of what is this reality.
Yeah, it was groundbreaking stuff, that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely at the time. Like I said, because I didn't have, I had first-hand experience, obviously, but I just wanted to study it more. with Ian, that's still going on to this day. So that was back in 2007, 2008. I don't suffer fools gladly. I don't think that I've been on one seminar and thinking, that's it, he's amazing, he's got the answers to everything in a 4-hour seminar. So I thought, well, I need to study this in more depth. So I just kept going on as many as I could, and then I was lucky enough to get on his introductory instructor award a couple of years later, and then managed to study his method in depth then, and then became a full instructor under his method a couple of years later again. So that was like a 4-year period. While I was studying, doing some courses with Jeff, that's where I met Mick Tully and Al Peasland. And they just offered me, I wasn't looking for it at all, because I had those two things I was trying to work on to bring back.
It's a Minnesota Cali group, isn't it?
Yeah, Minnesota Cali group. I didn't know they were doing that, because obviously Jeff is a karate guy. So Al and Mick were karate guys as far as I knew at the time. And so Al Peasland invited me down to their group, a Sunday group, to train with them. And I looked at Al and Mick moving, and I said, "You're not moving like karate guys. What is this? What are you doing?" And they said, "Where we do Jeet Kune Do and Kali and blah 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 and sticks and stuff." And I thought, I need to be looking at this. So it was going on a course that I wanted to do with Jeff, and then seeing Al and Mick going, that's what I need to be looking at. And it became, I was just selfish about it, really. It was for me. It wasn't for me to bring back to the club and show. I thought, there's movement in this, and there's flow in this that I need to be looking at to make, to add that to what I was doing, because it was that range. So we're starting to learn from Ian. The kata range isn't step, punch, block, counter. And then with the guys at Alan Mick and the Kali and the flow, I think, well, there's another flow to that range as well. The way they move in and out of range. There's this little range, how they bridge that gap. And then obviously you get to the range that, Ian's amazing at, that kata range. And then, so that developed from there, really. That was, again, I think, about 2009. I think I met with Alan Mick. So I've been studying the JKD and the Kali and Panatukan with the Minnesota Kali group since then, really. But there's nothing new under the sun. It's like I said, your karate teachers only pass on what they know and what they've been shown. But karate has a huge amount in it. But you need somebody to say, here, look at this. Do it this way. Try this. And I saw so many shapes, so many movements from the Kali and stuff that I thought, like you say, I know where that is. Exactly. It's only because I weren't shown in the karate I first learned. That's all it is. And so you just need somebody to go, well, we do it like this. And you think, I've already got that. It's in.
But the only thing that I've noticed in the last sort of, 5-10 years that, I no longer look for, what it looks like, because you've got to go from muscle memory, haven't you? It's got to be what it feels like. Because you've got this kind of fast twitch, the beginning of each movement, the way that you're going to transition your weight, and when you've got arms and it's a mess. And that's one of the criticisms you get with Kudo. It's like, oh, it's messy and it's, it's just like a scrap and stuff. Yeah, it is a scrap. Yeah, exactly. And that's what it's meant to be. It's like, I say to my students, like you go to a Kudo bout, you win by knockout or submission. If it goes to the refs, then, it could be a home advantage. It could be anything. Because, let's face it, it's subjective, isn't it? And people is biased and stuff. And, if it was a fight on the street, my mates would say I won the fight. And his mates would say he did, So, if he's got more friends than me, then there you go. So as far as I'm concerned, that's as close as you get for it. But what I was saying about, because I've been putting out material with Judo Steve, because I'm like looking at him and the way that he does the throws. And karate is like has a bigger range of movement. The judo is really about the contact and making, close quarter, lift, and transition and balance and all of those things in karate. And I started thinking to myself, maybe I'm, you see because you're looking too much.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm seeing that that's an application to this kata and that's an application to that kata, but actually probably not. It's maybe because I'm just looking a lot. So what we, you know, for me, like, I mean, this is what I was going to say at the beginning, really, was about the mental health side of it. It's like the bit about the Kudo, or the way of fighting with a lot of contact, is that internationally you can meet people, and then when you fight with them, because it's so traumatic, you know, afterwards, it's like any, you know, professional boxing bout or MMA, you know, they talk, you know, at the start, and at the end they're hugging and they're best friends because it's over. And then I think through trauma you make friends for life, you know.
Yeah.
And you can't be doing that all of the time, you know. And I think, like, I practice the Tai Chi Shivashi, which is the 18 movements for health. And that's all it ever was. You know, I didn't learn Yang style there, even though these 18 movements are from Yang style. That was really just for me to start building my confidence as a kid, you know, because like my asthma, my eczema, you know, kind of, as when you have a childhood disability, you're separated from your group. So you need something for yourself. You know, you need something which is mine. So I was being taught Tai Chi alongside the karate, because when I couldn't do the high level sports side, they give me something to do there. Like, you know, when I got better, it was the bow, you know, and the sai and things like that. But, you know, that is really close to me now as moving meditation, because I learned that and learned the breathing. I can apply that to kata, you know, and I think that's where, you know, my tip to anybody really was that, like, when you say kata's bollocks, and there's no point of practicing it. There's other elements, isn't there? You know, with the kata. And I watch.
Definitely, kata changes its importance as you get older.
Yeah.
It's all about keeping yourself
mobile.
What's
the kata that you were teaching on the course with this grip? Can you remember? There was the kata. I'd seen you demonstrate it.
Oh, the kakate.
Yes.
Yeah. That comes from various katas. There's an element. I'll move back a little bit. There's an element of it in Basai, Dai. There's an element in Senpai.
Oh, like this thing.
Yeah, like a parry. And that's one of the motions I actually saw in JKD and Kali. They call like a parry and they bridge and they go for the eyes.
Yeah.
This motion is everywhere in most art. You parry and cover or grab. So.
But I think like that's the difference between the guys in the BCKA and you know, and he, you know, I keep referencing Ian, but you know, he has been the driving force for a lot of the people who have come out of places from all over the world, you know. But the thing is that I'm like with kata, I really don't like the whole, you know, short, you know, really sharp kind of make it full range of movement, because what I was told within the Tai Chi was like 70% of the movement. You know, so if it's 70%, the last 30% is the return. So nothing really goes 100%. And that was the conflict with the karate. Was like, this is 100% out. You know, when some people would argue like 97 or, you know, 95 or whatever. But when I was looking at that, I was thinking, my God, you know, with the kata, if you quickly here, then it becomes so much sport because it's about look, not feel.
Exactly.
And now, like, it was a blessing really to be part of an organization where you can see people practice kata, and because they're thinking of the application, it kind of makes the whole body come alive.
Oh, it certainly does. Yeah. Definitely does. If you understand the application of it, or the brutality of it, it does bring on a different persona when you look at it.
Oh, totally. And I know the katas that I know, like Teki on a Hanchi, you know, that's one of my go-tos. So you'll see my face look very serious when I'm doing that one. And when I'm doing other katas that I don't know necessarily all the application, I just skim through them like I'm on holiday, you know?
Yeah.
And that's
what, well, coming from the background of my style, as it were, the Shukukai Jitori. Over 40 on this. So when I was younger, learning katas I just love just learning more, learning another one, but not learning them. You know what I mean? It's just go through, let's have another one. Let's have another one. But now I don't even go anywhere near that amount. On my list, enough so you can have enough to study and get enough skill set out of it. So
So that's another common thing that I found with us guys as well, and the kind of more the mental health theme is that we're a little bit more modern. It's not all sensei and stand and it's directed one way, because when I've been working with kids in traumatic situations till they're sort of 16. I've been doing that for 17 years, and these kids that when things go wrong in their life and they haven't got their core things sorted, like shelter, warmth, love, those things at home, then they're going to take it out on someone. And I've never taken it personal, and I've been attacked and stuff in work, but not many times, because if you value people and you talk to them, then they're more likely to invest in a relationship with you. And I see that, like, when I walk into your club, I feel that there's that kind of openness, that rapport. It's not people stood in corners stretching and throwing axe kicks and like the old bad competitions used to be. Because my students, I encourage them to talk, and that's why we have so much fun. And the evidence is there for any educator. You'll know that people learn through fun quicker.
Absolutely. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it.
No, that's all.
And that's probably another reason why I'm still doing it, because I just look like it's fun. Yeah. It is so fun when you get smacked in the head.
Yeah.
I'm always just smiling. If somebody's doing a bunk application on me on a course or whatever, and they go a little bit heavy-handed or whatever, and I'm just laughing.
Yeah, it's like, thank you for that.
The enjoyment of it. Yeah, just out of the enjoyment of it. Yeah.
The balance will be restored.
Fun. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I just think that the guys, for me this year, it's this time last year I lost my dad, and I dropped, and we hold everything so close to it. It's like we would have this conversation, and I'm quite open with everybody. I'm not the type of guy he's not attention seeking. It's just like, this is what it is. I'm struggling with this. And emotional literacy, for me, and emotional intelligence is a big part of my job, to help others be able to do it. But it's much different when it's you.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at the type of things that I go through with the kids in work, and I just couldn't make head or tail of it. You just can't. You're totally froze, and you're totally blocked out from life. Everything's too much. And I found now that, again, going back to kata, that as much as I like the mixed martial arts and the learning and things, I always tend to go back to the things that as a child, the katas, like here and knee down, I for some reason it was like bang for us, it was that, and the Tai Chi I regressed to find that way back. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, because when you give so much of yourself in just teaching martial arts, but in the career that you were having as well, where you were helping kids, that you're giving so much out, you just become depleted yourself. So when a life event happens to you, it's gonna be heavy, because someone needs to help you, and because we always giving it, it's quite hard then to say help.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was the hardest thing ever. Hardest thing ever. But that's what I was saying. What I didn't realize in the way that the club that have evolved, that you haven't got, like most clubs, you've got the main man and then you've got the person second. I haven't got that anymore. I've got like 6 guys. Some of them wear white belts. They did done Tang Sudo, and they've done like judo, and a few of them have done Muay Thai and all the rest. They're really well-rounded martial arts, and belts actually don't mean anything to them. It's actually what we provide to them. And I was open with them, and they kept the club going. So the Goju and Kudo Academy is still going because of those guys. Yeah,
it was the same with. I'm so lucky to have a group of guys. The same with mine. When I had my accident and I was out of action for a few months,
that was horrendous. That was. I went on an accidentally. You were like
slight little issue.
If I can find that photograph, I'll try and edit it into this.
Oh, I can send it.
Yeah, send it to me again, and I'll post it up.
I've still got it. Yeah, so they say like George and Neil.
You couldn't do it.
Yeah, I got an accident and just broke my neck. But yeah, they stepped up and kept the clubs going while I was trying to focus on rehabilitation. But yeah, you have this group ethic rather than, like you say, instructor, and then everyone else down below. You come from those groups, and we all know that they're still there. We all have experience of these groups where you couldn't speak to higher grades or approach the Japanese instructor, that type of thing. But that was like one reason why I took off the Dan bars off the belt.
Oh right, okay.
I
call my Grandmaster belt or my Master Ken belt.
Yeah, how many stripes?
I love it, but it's like it's so rigid. I can't really fight with it on, so I kind of put it on the side just to show people.
Yeah. I think it just helps that we're in the same group together. It's like you've got the same belt on as me. We're just here to help each other. Yeah. I've just been doing it a little bit longer, but as I get older, I need help, memory.
It's almost like you should be losing stripes as you get old, isn't it? Not the honorary stripes. But I think that's good as well, because I remember when I found your website and it said Lee Taylor Karate, I was like, check this guy out, naming his karate style after himself. I bet. Now thinking about it, I think I'm the fool, because I'm trying to adopt the Japanese terminology for something that is organic, and actually, like I said to you at the beginning, it's your karate. You're teaching it. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to be open to where you're getting things from, because like when you're teaching, you've said like I've been influenced by this person, that person, as you're doing it, and I think that's what keeps that kind of lineage that people are so fixated on, isn't it? It's like you've respected your
definitely respect where you come from, and you always pay homage to the people who've influenced you. But is like Guru Dan Inosanto, one of his requisites is not to criticize any other art, and that's filtered down all through his instructors. So the Minnesota Kali head instructor is Rick Fay, which is one of Guru Dan's instructors, and the same thing, never criticize any other art. And if you think about it, you will find that the head of the BCKA, Peter and Ian, are the same. They don't get involved in that type of thing.
Yeah.
Get on with what they need to be getting on with. They work hard with what they're doing. And I think it's a valid point. We can easily get lost into name calling and style blagging and everything, but this doesn't serve a purpose. We just need to be getting on with what we do. And
because I think that the etiquette, the Japanese culture, that was for me, it was definitely an attraction. It's one of the reasons I still practice it the way that I do, and why I wouldn't go take the gi off, rash vest on. Let's start doing. I'm a cage fighter now. It's not going to be doing.
Yeah, karate's still got that to offer.
Yeah,
and I think people are gravitating towards it the way we're changing. Times are changing. I think it's going to go full circle like everything does.
Yeah,
it's going to come back.
Well, it's like when I was in Japan, and Zuma Takashi, the Jukucho, the grandmaster for Kudo. I spoke with him briefly at the the after party, sayonara party, and all the rest of it. But I realized that the years in karate of knowing your mat etiquette, as in walking 90 degrees, bow in before you enter, all of those things, actually stopped a lot of really awkward situations that I probably would have walked into if I hadn't learned that. Walking backwards after greeting someone rather than just turning your back on them, all of those sorts of things. I think that they've got their place, and I'd be a bit disappointed, if I'm honest, if all of the arts went right. Well, we're in UK, so we'll just teach our way and forget about the Japanese part, because actually that gives you, and that also for me was that kind of childhood dream. It created this hope that's what success looks like. Because I say to kids, what's success? And they say, big house and a car, and lots of that, and then if you say to them, well, happiness is success, isn't it? And then they go, yeah, that's all that, isn't it? And the house and the car. And I say, well, what's the dream? And kids are being rationalized to the point that their dreams are being rationalized, and I think that's why, like for me, going to Japan didn't disappoint. No. It didn't disappoint at all. but you know, there's also a bit of romanticizing going on that was there with the art, you know, and you know, like I viewed so much because I had to look into the Kyokushin element of Kudo, and I'd never really looked into that art as much because obviously being from almost like a Shotokan derivative art, I was like, well, what is this? And when I was sat with Azuma in the Malta course, he was telling me about the conversations he was having with Masayama about the head contact, because there was a number of them that wanted the head contact, but Masayama was like, you know, I understand that, but that's not what we're doing, and you know, gave Azuma the, you know, the blessings to go ahead that route, if you like. But you know, and there's conversations to say that Masayama had black belts or black belt, whatever, in judo, which I've been looking at recently. I can't seem to find, but that's irrelevant. But Azuma is even though, like, I talked to him about karate throw from a kata, and he looked at me like I was like on another planet, and he was like, no, this is judo. And then this is this. So it's interesting to see that you've got a certain amount of people following the karate throwing elements from the kata, and then people who would disregard kata totally because we've already got judo. Why do we need to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, I mean, that was you know, the time for me.
We all come across those points.
Yeah, and it made me think, well, just forget kata again, you know? And then when now we're on lockdown, even BJJ guys are making kata, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I said, kata comes round in cycles. I think when you personally train it, and you go through. I went through the competitive side of it, and then went through the application side of it, and then didn't drop it, but it just sat there while I wasn't really studying it that much, while I was doing other things, and then because I was doing other things, it brought life back into the kata again.
Yeah.
And again,
it's because you're always studying kata, aren't you? That's what you're at.
Yeah. It just goes in cycles. It goes in ebbs and flows, and now it comes back round again because we're isolated, and you need to keep mobile and keep healthy, and there you go, and it comes back around. You don't have to do it. You know, you can do it. It does so much. You can do it flat out to get yourself a good cardio workout, or you can do it really nice and slow control, just to wake up the joints and calm the mind. It's got a lot to offer, but people who don't understand it just seem to label it and box it and somewhere else.
Well, that's a good thing now. I mean, there's loads of stuff out there, isn't there, kata, that people can copy. So, you know, I forget the guy's name now, but he did I found it funny. He was mimicking Jesse, the karate nerd, and he dressed up like him with a wig and all the rest of it. And I laughed hard, you know, at that. That was really funny. And then I've seen that Jesse's put out a video now where he teaches him and gets him to practice kata.
Oh yes, I did see.
Yeah, because the guy's obviously had maybe not a great instructor, and whatever, isn't it? So I think, you know, to kind of cap this as a topic, I think if you have a practice kata, give it a go. You know, but my advice to you would be, think of it as like moving meditation to get the breath and the whole body together.
Exactly. Especially as we're getting older.
Yeah, that's enough. Well, it's been great to talk to you, Lee.
Yeah, it's good to see you, mate.
I'm hoping that, you know, what I'll do is once I've done this, I'll put our contact details in it, and I'm hoping that we can hook up a little bit more with some of the other guys who are putting stuff out as well. And, and on keeping on the mental health part, because this is one of the key things that I was trying to do with this, is that the thing is, for your own mind, you need to heal it. It's like when you have a problem and you talk out loud and you think, actually, it's not a bigger problem as I thought it was, because it's past the lips. So, you know, and actually speaking to someone you don't know is not exactly like, you know, if you would call up a support line, that is literally someone you don't know. But there's different levels of knowing people, isn't there? Like, we know each other, but we don't like spend weekends together or whatever. So it's actually speaking to someone and telling them what the problem is, just to help you to kind of unload a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Always helps to talk.
It always helps to talk. And anybody wants to, like, talk crap with me for an hour, that's completely fine.
That's it. Yeah, whatever.
All right, mate. Well, I'll see you soon. Good luck with all the lessons and keeping the club going, and give my best to your family.
And you. Thanks for the chat.
Stay safe, dude. Ta-ra, mate.